Today I wanted to talk about something I picked up. I'd wanted one of these for a long time. If you've seen my username, you probably know that. It's a Springfield M1a. It's a standard that I put in an EBR chassis. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit, and I'll put some videos up of it in action in the near future. So I've always been a huge M14 fan, and I finally had the cash to drop on one. I picked up the M1a standard at a gun show for 1100, 1200, something like that. I can't remember. I picked up the EBR chassis for about 500 bucks shipped. Got it used. Same with the Leopold VXR 3-9 optic. I got it used for 500 shipped. So all in all, I'm maybe $2,500 into the gun, which I think is pretty good for a EBR setup. I got the UTG Harris style bipod on here. I know it's the cheap knockoff or whatever, but for a third of the price, if not less, as an actual Harris, it does the job just fine. So I wanted to talk about the M14 in general a little bit today, and the EBR chassis. So I've had this out to about 400 meters so far, and I can hit a torso size steel target no problem, and that's using crappy Walmart Perfecta 308 ammo. So the match grade ammo we cake at 400 plus. My goal is to get the rifle out to 1,000 meters, which isn't too far off. The trigger on the standard Springfield M1As is absolutely terrible. It is just god awful. Long, not crisp pull at all. I haven't measured it, but I hear it's around an 8-pound pull, which is just way too high. That is the next upgrade I'm going to have done on this rifle. I'm going to send it out to Smith Enterprises for 125 bucks. They'll rework it, get it down to about a 3.5 or 4.5 pound trigger pull. It'll be really smooth. Also going to get the EBR trigger shoe, because with the pistol grip here, the trigger is just not meant to be pulled from this location. It's meant for the the traditional wood stock where you're coming at it from a different angle, and the trigger shoe will fix that. Scope mount. I originally had Springfield Gen 4 side scope mount on it, and the one that screws into the side and onto this little block right here. And then when I bought the EBR chassis, it came with this EBR quick detach mount, which I like the mount, but it is nowhere near quick detach at this moment. If you can see on this side, it has these two levers that lock together and clip onto the rail, but my God, are they a pain to get on and off. The tolerance between the two lining up is incredibly close, and it is not quick by any means to take on or off. The biggest problem I have with the EBR chassis is it makes this gun a bear to clean. I don't clean it every time I shoot it because it is just such a pain to clean. You have to take the scope off, which means dealing with those mounts that are hard to get off. You need your Allen keys to take off the front rail cover. You need your Allen keys to undo the gas block that screws into the chassis. And then, of course, you disassemble it like a normal M14 from there. And even taking the bolt out of a standard M1A is not that fun. So that is the biggest gripe I have with this rifle system. Also, the mag can be a little hard to seat if you don't lock the bolt to the rear, which it does have a bolt lock to the rear, so that's a nice feature. And of course, the EBR chassis weighs a boatload. So if you're planning on doing some hunting where you're going to be carrying your rifle for long distances, I would not recommend the EBR chassis. But since I'm going to carry it from my car to the stand or whatever, or maybe 100 meters on the range, it's not that big of a deal. The vertical foregrip is the Sage vertical foregrip that is way overpriced for what it is, but it does fit onto the EBR chassis. I got a good deal on it used. I could take it or leave it, to be honest, so I just have it on there because I have it, but obviously from a prone or a bench position, you're not going to be using it anyway, but from the standing position, I guess it does help a little bit. So, as I had mentioned, the next step, and probably what anyone should do as the first step when you buy a standard M1A or even a national match, is get the trigger rework. There's several places that'll do it. I'm going with Smith Enterprises, like I said, but that is the biggest limiting factor on the factory performance of the weapon. From there, I bought the standard so that I could upgrade it as I went. And what I'd like to do eventually is get an aftermarket barrel. I haven't decided on which one yet. I'd like to keep the full-size barrel. And I'd like to also go, as soon as I get the whole tax stamp thing figured out, when I move back home, I'm going to go with the Vortex flash hider from Smith Enterprises and get their Windtalker 308 suppressor. And then she'll really be having some fun. Then I'd just like to talk a little bit about the Leupold VXR Patrol 3-9 scope. It's probably the best scope for your money you can get out there. I got it for 500 shipped used. I think it's like $650 new or something like that. It's an amazing optic, especially for the price. You get Leupold name on it, so you know it's going to be good. Mine has the illuminated dot reticle in the middle. I haven't really messed with that too much. I'm fine with just the crosshairs. It also has the mil dot, and it's worked perfectly for me so far. Obviously, when you get out to the longer ranges, maybe a little more magnification would be nice, but for 500 bucks, it's perfect. So let me know if you have any questions about the M1A or EBR chassis or anything, and look forward to seeing some videos of it on the range soon. Thanks.